It won't take long.
I didn't get that little speck of
Alright,
dirt out there.
imaginary numbers are sometimes written as what they call complex numbers, which is a combination of a number that you're used to and an imaginary number. Now, imaginary numbers are based on
Stupid people.
I. So you can no longer use I as a variable. Okay, so you can't use it as, oh, it's just something that you don't know. Okay, I is equal to the square root of negative 1. So anytime I see something like that, okay, the square root of negative 25, the answer used to be empty set. Can't be done. It is no longer that answer. It is simply, I'm going to look at this as the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 25. What's the square root of negative 1? I. What's the square root of 25? So the answer to this is 5i. Okay.
What is the point?
Why?
I told you,
Hold on, wait.
don't ask those kind of
Hold on,
questions.
wait,
They
back
equal.
up.
Okay, back up. Okay, I is equal to the square root of negative 1, always, okay? If I have the square root of negative 1, it allows me to take the square root of a number that's a negative number, okay? Where I didn't used to be able to do that, I can do that now.
When do you do this in life? Like, when do you use this?
It's strictly for
We
reasons.
don't know.
Why?
Well,
Okay.
I'm just.
I don't know,
What do
I
we have
don't
to
know,
learn
okay?
this? Never use
You will, engineering,
it.
you can use it in engineering. You maybe could use it in physics,
Ren,
okay?
war torture methods.
Do I think that you guys will, depending on what you go into, if you decide you're going to be, I don't know, an accountant, you're never gonna use imaginary numbers, okay? If you are going to be a veterinarian, you're never gonna use imaginary numbers, okay? So I'm just telling you, but this part's easy, so just hang on to it. Understand, that's the key behind all of it. I is equal to the square root of negative 1. So then when I take the 25, I write it in terms of negative 1 and 25. Square root of negative 1 is I, square root of 25 is 5. Always write the I behind the number just like you do any other variable. Okay, but now when you see 5i, that's like an imaginary number. Now, a lot of the rules that apply to variables also apply to that I. So when I have a number, if I have the square root of negative 12, okay? I can break negative 12 down into things that I can take the square root of. So I've got the square root of negative 1, right? I've got the square root of 4, and I've got the square root of 3. Would you agree with that? We've already been doing this. Okay, what is the square root of 4? 2. What's the square root of negative 1? I. So the answer is 2i on the square root of 3. And that's your answer. Okay? It's just like what you've been doing, except for now you can take the square root of a negative number. Okay?
We should just keep it the way it was.
Yeah! Alright, how about this one?
It's easy to get complicated.
So is it only with negative?
It's only with negative. You only use it as it's a square root of negative 1. That's what it is. Okay, so I look at this one, and I need to break this down. I've got the number, and I've got the variable. Hopefully at this point you remember. What can I multiply together to get 27? 9 and 3. Okay, so this stuff isn't new. Oops.
It's not hard.
No, especially compared to what y'all been doing. Okay, so I can do it in any order, but understand the I needs to go at the back, just like the variables do. So the square root of 9 is what? 3. Okay. Square root of I, the square root of negative 1 is I. Okay, but then I also have, so I've done this and I've done this. I have a square root of 3 over here. What about that one?
X on the outside.
I can pull out an X and I can leave an X underneath. Okay?
You're making words.
So I have 3xi
Spelling out help me.
on the square root of 3x.
I wonder if you could do that.
Okay?
Okay.
Nothing new. Okay, it's nothing hard. Okay.
Alright, quiz.
Now, no, you're not quite done.
Nathan, what did
Okay,
you do?
now, here's
Alrighty.
the other thing about this. When you see the I in an equation or in a algebraic expression, you treat it just like any other variable. So the rules that apply to the other variables apply to the I. And what I mean by this is, if I have 4i times, let's do this first. I'm adding 4i plus 2i. What's that equal to?
Wrong.
6i.
Okay, isn't 4x plus 2x equal to 6x? Yeah, okay, so the same rules that apply for variables apply for the I, with the one exception.
1.
I squared equals -1. So I can never have an I squared left in my equation. So let's say I took this and I said 4i times
Wait.
6i. I'm multiplying now. Okay, what is that equal to? 24i
Need help.
squared, okay? But remember I said, you're not done if you have I squared in your answer. I squared is equal to -1. So I substitute -1 there for I squared, and my answer is -24. Okay, yes, don't ask me why. See, I was
So,
reading your mind, I
okay.
know it's killing you.
So
Why do we have to learn this?
so-
Like, why does the book want us so weird?
if I is -1, but I squared is also -1,
But
No.
when,
right?
But
No,
if I is
I is the
negative
square root of -1.
I squared.
Okay,
I
versus I
need
squared is -1.
Wait, hold on.
Okay,
I am
you don't make it more complicated than what it is.
so what's IQ?
Okay.
+1?
What if I have, now watch
Pick me up for
this,
math, I'm
I'm
scared.
confused. Wait, what is IQ?
I'll tell you in just a second, we're gonna get there. Okay.
-1.
Okay, let's say I have something like this. Now, the way that we used to do it is we would just multiply what's underneath there, but I can't do that if they have a negative. So I have to pull the negative out first. So this is the same as I on the square root of 6 times I on the square root of 10. Now I can multiply what's on the inside and what's on the outside. So I have an I squared on the outside, I have a square root of 60 on the inside. Is there anything that I can multiply together to get 60 that I can take the square root of? Now I'm not done yet because I got to deal with that I squared, but how about 4 and 15? Okay, so I have an I squared, I have a square root of 4, I have a square root of 15. What's the square root of 4? 2. What is I squared?
-1.
-1. So I have 2 times -1, or I have a -2 on the square root of 15. Okay? It's not hard, it's just weird. Okay?
Weird.
What about,
No,
alright,
not what about. Why?
do this one. Okay, don't say, remember I told you, don't say the word why.
How?
How?
How? What?
Where and when?
Okay,
What?
do that problem right there.
Who would, where, when?
How?
Yeah. answer.
We have to write our eyes in cursive.
Yes,
Need
you
help?
do. You
Oh,
have
you
to
do?
write the I's in cursive.
I need help.
Thanks to you guys.
How do you write
Pull out the I's first.
I forgot how to do that on this
Like this.
specific
I
thing.
is equal to the square root of -1. So look at that as -1 times 5. You take the square root.
Suck the eye and pull it, -5.
Um.
Right, I'm looking for the history of the
I got some.
What's
Oh,
that?
you use it on electricity.
Electricity?
Why? No.
Zap! Ow!
Oh,
It zapped
shut
me.
up.
I don't get why.
I got
Alright.
a number.
Originally 17th century. Okay, was when it was first put into place by Descartes.
Pirates?
Before they had TV, they were
Descartes.
bored.
I give me.
I got a number.
Aye.
No.
What?
Is this it?
How did I get that?
I got there and then I stopped.
Me too. That's as far as I got.
Wait a
Okay,
second.
second
I
step.
don't think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, this is.
Whatever.
Alright, look up here. Okay, first thing I did was I pulled out the I. Y'all with me on that?
Oh,
Okay. Now, if you wanted to, you could have broken down the 20, but it really doesn't, it's not helpful here.
I broke it down.
So I have an I times an I, so I have an I squared on the square root of 100. What is the square root of 100? 10. So it's, well, it's not, hold on. It should be
Nice.
this. Should be this.
I
That's
too.
what I was
Negative
confused. That's
10.
what I
Sorry
got. I was
about
like,
that.
wait a
I just
minute.
pulled the I.
I failed at breaking it down.
Okay?
Got it.
Because this is negative 1 and this is 10, so it's 10I. Okay, let's do another one. I'm running out of time, hurry.
Yes. Oh, ha ha ha.
Ren, are you
What about this one?
doing the church thing this weekend?
Oh, Wednesday?
No.
The call.
Oh, the call.
Yeah.
Alright, do that one.
Is there gonna be a mechanical bull? Tracy?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
mechanical bull.
Yeah.
Mechanical bull and then like these like
They've got like those balls that you put
inflatable
around you
things that you
and you
can
run into each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna kill Ren.
You probably would.
I mean, what?
We gotta sign a waiver for it.
Sweet, so it's legal.
Did your mom sign the waiver?
Probably.
She has to, or else you can't do it.
This one.
I'm kind of confused, but I did something.
Foil. Haha.
We are gonna do foil on this.
Oh,
really?
We are.
Bad calling.
Today?
Help me.
Depends on whether we run out of time or not.
Why?
Help me.
I did something.
Why foil?
Just a second. Let me figure this out.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Let me. No, I'm not gonna.
Okay,
I'm not gonna.
what's the
Why?
items on?
I
I squared.
No.
This
Okay.
paper was my
What is
life.
I
Why
squared?
can't they just 12 days?
Probably negative one.
Probably, yeah. So I have that, times that, what's that equal to?
Cool.
Okay. Can you explain to me the other one as well?
This one over here?
Yeah.
Okay. I pulled out an I out of each one of them. Then I multiply what's on the outside
So
here.
the i's take basically the negative.
Yeah, because it's I squared, I replace it with negative 1. And then I have 5 times 20, which is 100. Square root of 100 is 10, so it's negative 10.
Wait.
Because it's negative 1 times
I hate this.
I.
Wait, no,
Okay.
you lost me the last part.
Here,
Yeah, we messed up.
okay, hold on. What's I squared equal to?
Negative one.
What's the square root of 100 equal to? So what's negative 1 times 2? Okay. All right, looking over here, guys. Take the numbers. I have negative 12. I times I is I squared. You with me on that?
Mm.
Yeah?
Mm.
Okay, so I have negative 12.
Pick
What
a
is
number, any number.
what is I squared
Seven.
equal to?
911.
I'm going 911.
7. That's how I feel right
Is
now.
it that bad today?
They're doing imaginary numbers, and he's like, what is that?
Q.
Stupid.
Q is an imaginary
Yeah,
number.
you're going.
Zero
Okay,
doesn't
I'm
exist.
going to Red Crab with goat
Got
and then
Can we
I
go?
love this.
We all want to go.
Bring it back.
field trip.
We can do math there with something there.
All right.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
see you at home.
All right.
If we get this next
All
problem
right.
right,
I squared. What is I squared equal to? Negative 1. So I'm going negative 12 times negative 1, which is positive 12.
Got it. Ain't no way second.
I didn't get it.
We all
I
put
didn't
red
get
card
it
now?
right, but I
It's
got the
not,
number.
it's really not that hard because you treat the I just like you treat any other variable when you're doing math on it. The only difference is if you have an I squared left in your answer, you must change it to a negative 1.
So all you're doing is just multiplying the other.
Yeah.
They're both odd.
Right, right, absolutely. It's just like x times x or x squared, okay?
I, so it's
Now, all right, I'm gonna put another one up here, and then we're gonna do an equation with it, okay?
I said save the people who get this book next and rip out the section about the eye.
For, like, let's say I have this. I'm gonna go ahead and address this. Okay? That's just like you having an X or a T or a Q. So I combine like terms. I have 4i and 6i, so that's 10i. I have 3 and I have 2, so that's 5. Now the only difference is I normally write it like that, because your I is always at the end. Okay? That's a complex number. That's a combination of a real number and an imaginary number. Okay, does that make sense?
Hey, you just do FOIL?
No, I didn't do FOIL. Okay, now I'm going
No.
to,
It's like, wait.
okay? This is just adding. This is like if you had an X here and an X here and you just put together like terms.
Why'd you put parentheses?
Okay, do what?
Then why'd you put parentheses?
To throw you off.
What?
So he would ask the
That's
question.
evil.
So he would ask the question, did you do FOIL?
He's
Okay,
zoned out.
understanding that this isn't FOIL because there's a plus between it. Now, let's say
Got
there
it.
wasn't a plus between it.
I was confused.
Yeah.
So if it was subtraction,
Run.
then you just do the same thing?
Yes, except for remember the
Yes,
subtraction
right.
is distributed.
Right.
Right, yes, exactly, okay? So, Bella, real quick, I had a plus between there. This is just about combining like terms. The 4i matches the 6i, it's like 4x matches 6x. The 3 and the 2 go together, so you just put like terms together. But, let's say there wasn't an addition between there. There was multiplication between there. Then I have to do FOIL on this. First, outside, inside, last. But this is easy compared to those square roots. Okay? 4i times 6i, what is that? 24i squared. Now I'm going to leave that squared there for now. Okay? Outside is going to give me 8i. This times this. Inside is going to give me 18i. Right? Last is going to give me 6. Right?
And then you combine.
Okay, I can combine these two together, and I can take that negative, I can take that I squared, and it becomes negative 1, right? So what's negative 1 times 24? Negative 24. Plus, when I add those two, I'm going to get 26i, not I squared, because I'm just adding them. Okay? Plus 6. Now the only thing I can do is combine the negative 24 and the 6. So that's going to give me a negative 18 plus 26i.
That's easy.
Okay?
Alright,
Sure.
you kind of lost
I
me
already
at
got there.
24.
Yes.
And don't come
Here.
back.
Yeah.
What's I squared equal to?
Can I go to?
Negative.
I got no back.
Just go, right?
What? Negative 1, right? Okay, so 24 times negative 1 is negative 24.
But isn't that the same thing as the 26 times I? That's
Can I
still
leave?
negative 1?
No, that's squared, this one's not.
But doesn't I still equal negative 1?
No, I squared equals negative 1. I equals the square root of negative
I can believe me.
1. Okay, that's where you're running into problems. I squared equals negative 1. I equals the square root of negative 1. Okay, so I can leave an I in the problem, I just can't leave an I squared in the problem. Okay? I'm gonna put one up here for y'all to do while they're taking their bathroom break.
So whole class.
I'm gonna have to go to.
Except I won't come back.
Yeah.
The next flight to somewhere far away.
Alaska.
Welcome to Puerto Rico. And red crab.
Let's go to Red Crab.
Alright, you're gonna do FOIL on that. Or,
No fair though, Roger.
Oil.
there's a shortcut.
Don't
Erase it?
Don't.
Yes, erase.